Hi, I'm Rod. We're talking about how Huntsville can become a gig city. Now in this segment, we'll talk about why we need one network with many service providers, why the city really shouldn't be or can't be that service provider, and thirdly, why this plan will make Huntsville the national model for net neutrality. When you order broadband service, the telephone company or the cable company brings out a truck and they connect their physical network to your house. They put cable up on utility poles or buried along your street, and it's their network, their physical network that connects you. But that's only because in the past, each service provider has had to build out their own physical network. Like we said in the first video, networks are built in layers, so it's entirely possible to have one organization deliver the physical connection and another organization deliver the service that rides on top of it. It's a lot like when you order something online. You might be doing business with Amazon.com, but FedEx or UPS or the Postal Service is delivering their packages to you. It's the same way with networking. Your service could come from any number of service providers on the gig city, but it would be the citizen-owned gig city network that delivers it to you. Everyone benefits from this arrangement. Service providers would not need to spend buckets of money to build a network and then hope to win some customers. Remember the natural monopoly? One network is most efficient. Instead, service providers could simply pay for their connection, their big pipe connection, to the gig city network, and then pay for each customer that they have on the gig city. And of course, customers would benefit from this too, because they would have a range of choices, and you could move when you decide to move from one service provider to another. So, one gig city network, multiple providers. You may have heard about EPB networks in Chattanooga and how that utility company became its own internet service provider. They already had fiber for their own utility infrastructure installed around the city, and so they decided to simply become their own internet service provider. Why couldn't Huntsville Utilities do that? Well, there are two big reasons why. Number one, telecom lobbyists saw that happen in Chattanooga. It was one of the first in the whole country. They didn't just sit around. They got legislation on the books in Alabama and other states that prevents municipalities from doing what EPB did. Now, it says that it encourages broadband competition and development, but it really puts strict limits on what municipalities are allowed to do. And number two, most people would agree that the city should not be competing directly with businesses. They should be providing the infrastructure on which businesses and citizens could do business. So again, to become a gig city, Huntsville could best join a partnership to build a citizen-owned local network on which multiple providers compete. Lastly, let's talk about net neutrality. I know this has become a political football lately, with the FCC making a new ruling about old law and pundits on television taking sides on what role the government should or shouldn't play in regulating the internet. But let me point something out. Net neutrality wouldn't even be a concern if market forces were allowed to work. If there was a platform on which service providers could compete, you would simply vote with your wallet and move from one that you don't like to one that you do. But most people don't have that choice. They get one option for broadband internet service, and if they don't like it, tough. The gig city could change all of that. You could have a menu of service providers from which to choose, a platform on which those service providers would compete. So if you like what you're hearing, please share this video, talk about it with your friends, and two, visit the website below to add your name to the list of people that want to see it happen. Thanks so much.